You've probably heard of Niccolò Machiavelli, the Italian philosopher who wrote The Prince, that infamous guide to political power that's been both celebrated and condemned for 5 centuries. But here's what most people don't realize: the same principles Machiavelli used to explain how rulers gain and maintain power can revolutionize your approach to attraction and relationships. Before we dive deep into this transformative content, if you find value in what you're about to learn, do me a favor, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. We're building a community of people who think differently, who aren't afraid to challenge conventional wisdom, and who want real results in life. Now, let's get into it. The Machiavellian mindset shift. You need to understand something fundamental right now: everything you've been taught about attraction is probably wrong. Society feeds you fairy tales about being the nice guy, about waiting for your turn, about hoping she notices your good qualities. And where has that gotten you? Machiavelli understood a truth that most men refuse to accept: the world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards effective action. He wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." In other words, perception is reality. What matters isn't who you truly are deep down, it's who you appear to be, how you present yourself, and the value you demonstrate. This isn't about manipulation. It's about strategic authenticity. It's about understanding the game and playing it masterfully. Think about it this way: you might be the most loyal, kind, intelligent man in the world, but if you can't communicate that effectively, if you can't demonstrate those qualities in ways that register emotionally, then they might as well not exist. Machiavelli wasn't advocating for fakeness, he was advocating for effective presentation of your genuine strengths. The power of calculated confidence. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors the bold, but not the reckless. There's a critical difference. When you approach attraction through a Machiavellian lens, you're not being arrogant or fake, you're being strategically confident. You need to understand that women, like all humans, are drawn to certainty. They're attracted to men who know what they want and aren't afraid to pursue it. Machiavelli wrote that, "It is better to be impetuous than cautious, because fortune is a woman, and it is necessary, if you want to hold her down, to beat her and struggle with her." Now, interpret that metaphorically for modern times. What Machiavelli meant was that passive waiting gets you nowhere. Hesitation kills opportunity. When you see a woman you're interested in, your calculated confidence must override your fear. How do you develop this? You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You create moments through decisive action. You approach. You speak. You express interest without apology. Not because you're entitled to her attention, but because you value yourself enough to take the risk. But here's the crucial distinction between confidence and recklessness: confidence is rooted in preparation and self-knowledge. Before you approach, you've done the work on yourself. You've developed conversational skills. You've cultivated interesting experiences and perspectives. You've taken care of your appearance, your health, your career. You're not boldly approaching from a place of desperation, you're approaching from a place of genuine value. Reckless men approach without self-awareness, without reading social cues, without respect for boundaries. Confident men approach with clarity of intention, awareness of context, and respect for the other person's autonomy. They can handle rejection gracefully because their self-worth isn't dependent on any single outcome. This is Machiavellian wisdom at its finest: be bold, but be calculated. Take risks, but make sure you've stacked the odds in your favor through preparation and self-development. Strategic scarcity, the art of being unavailable. Here's where Machiavelli's genius really applies to modern attraction: the principle of scarcity. In The Prince, Machiavelli explains how rulers maintain power by never being too accessible, too predictable, or too available. You've probably made this mistake before: you meet someone you like, and suddenly you're always available. You text back immediately. You rearrange your entire schedule to accommodate hers. You make yourself completely transparent and predictable. This kills attraction. Machiavelli understood that people value what they have to work for. They appreciate what they might lose. When you're constantly available, you communicate low value. You signal that you have nothing else important in your life. You become common, predictable, ordinary. Instead, you need to be strategically scarce. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It means having a life so rich, so full of purpose and passion, that you genuinely aren't always available. It means pursuing your goals with such intensity that your time becomes valuable. When she texts, you respond when you finish what you're working on, not immediately. When she wants to see you, you check your schedule genuinely because you actually have commitments, goals, and other priorities. This isn't a tactic. It's a lifestyle that makes you authentically attractive. Think about the most attractive people you know. They're not sitting around waiting for text messages. They're building businesses, creating art, training for competitions, developing skills, nurturing friendships, pursuing adventures. Their scarcity is authentic because they're genuinely engaged in meaningful activities. This creates a powerful psychological effect. When you do give her your time and attention, it means something. It has weight. She knows you chose to be with her instead of the other valuable things you could be doing. That choice becomes meaningful precisely because your time is limited and precious. Scarcity also prevents you from falling into the trap of overinvestment too early. When you maintain your own life and priorities, you naturally pace the relationship appropriately. You don't rush into intensity before genuine connection has developed. You don't suffocate the budding attraction with excessive attention. Maintain your independence, the greatest aphrodisiac. Machiavelli warned princes against becoming dependent on others for their security or power. The same applies to your romantic life. The moment you need her validation to feel good about yourself, you've already lost. Women are attracted to men who are complete without them. Not men who need them to feel whole. You must build a life so fulfilling that a relationship becomes an enhancement, not a necessity. This means having your own passions, your own friends, your own goals that exist independently of any woman. When she enters your life, she should add to it, not complete it. This independence creates an attractive paradox: the more you don't need her, the more she wants to be needed by you. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." Apply this to yourself. Examine your life. Are you surrounding yourself with purpose, growth, and excellence? Or are you organizing your entire existence around the hope of female approval? The man who has built something meaningful, whether it's a business, a skill, a body of work, or a strong social circle, naturally attracts because he demonstrates value through action, not words. Consider what independence actually looks like in practice. It means you have hobbies that fascinate you regardless of whether anyone else participates. It means you have friends you see regularly and relationships you nurture. It means you have career ambitions that drive you forward. It means you have intellectual interests that stimulate your mind. When you meet a woman, you're not thinking, "Finally, someone to fill the void in my life." You're thinking, "This is an interesting person who might add a new dimension to my already rich existence." That subtle shift in perspective changes everything about how you show up in the interaction. Independent men don't tolerate disrespect or bad behavior because they know they can walk away. They don't compromise their core values because they're not desperate to maintain the relationship at any cost. They negotiate from a position of strength because they have options, not necessarily other women, but the option of being perfectly content alone. This independence also protects you emotionally. If the relationship ends, you don't fall apart because you still have your purpose, your passions, your friends, your goals. You're disappointed, perhaps hurt, but not destroyed. That resilience is attractive in itself and prevents you from making desperate, needy decisions that push people away. The power of controlled emotion. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear compassionate, faithful, and humane, to seem to have these qualities while maintaining the flexibility to act contrary to them when necessary. For modern attraction, this translates to emotional intelligence and control. You need to be able to show interest without neediness, to express feelings without desperation, to be vulnerable without being weak. This is the balance that most men never achieve. When you're attracted to someone, your instinct might be to shower them with attention, to constantly express how much you like them, to be emotionally transparent about every feeling. This overwhelms and repels. Instead, you reveal yourself gradually. You show interest through actions more than words. You create emotional variation, moments of warmth followed by respectful distance, engagement followed by independent focus on your own life. Machiavelli understood that power comes from unpredictability within a framework of respect. She should never be completely certain of where she stands with you, yet she should always feel respected and valued. This creates the tension that drives attraction. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or becoming a stoic robot. It means being the master of your emotions rather than their slave. When something excites you, you feel it fully but express it proportionately. When something upsets you, you acknowledge it but don't let it control your behavior. Here's a practical example. Imagine she cancels plans at the last minute. The emotionally uncontrolled man either A. explodes in anger, sending accusatory messages, or B. immediately accommodates, saying, "No problem at all," while secretly resenting her. Neither response is attractive or healthy. The emotionally controlled man says something like, "I'm disappointed because I was looking forward to seeing you, but I understand things come up. Let me know when you're free to reschedule." This expresses genuine feeling, disappointment, maintains self-respect, his time was valuable, and stays calm and reasonable, no drama or desperation. Women test emotional control constantly, often unconsciously. They want to know if you'll maintain your composure when things don't go your way. They want to see if you can handle disagreement without becoming defensive or aggressive. They want to know if you can be emotionally present without being emotionally overwhelming. The man who masters this balance becomes incredibly attractive because he offers emotional safety. She knows she can share her feelings with you without triggering a disproportionate reaction. She knows you can handle her moods, her uncertainties, her complexities. She trusts that you won't fall apart or lash out when challenges arise. Strategic generosity, giving on your terms. Machiavelli had fascinating advice about generosity. A prince must not worry about the reproach of cruelty when it is a matter of keeping his subjects loyal and united. He will prove more merciful than those who through too much mercy allow disorders to develop. Applied to relationships, this means you should be generous, but strategically so. Don't give because you're trying to buy affection or prove your worth. Give from a position of abundance, when you choose to, on your terms. When you take her to dinner, do it because you want to, not because you think it'll make her like you. When you help her with something, do it because it aligns with your values, not because you're hoping for something in return. The difference is subtle but profound. Transactional generosity is transparent and unattractive. Abundant generosity from a man who has value to spare is magnetic. Think about how unattractive it is when someone clearly gives with expectation. The guy who buys drinks all night and then gets angry when the woman isn't interested. The man who does favors and keeps a mental scorecard. The person who gives gifts and then references them in arguments. This isn't generosity, it's investment with expected returns. True strategic generosity comes from overflow. You've built such abundance in your life, financial, emotional, social, that giving costs you nothing. You enjoy being generous because it aligns with who you are, not because of what you hope to get back. This also means knowing when not to give. Machiavelli warned against the too much mercy that allows disorder. In relationships, this translates to maintaining boundaries. If she consistently takes advantage of your generosity, you withdraw it. If someone shows they don't value what you offer, you redirect that energy elsewhere. Strategic generosity also means giving what's actually valuable, not just what's easy. Anyone can buy flowers or send generic compliments. But genuine generosity might mean giving your undivided attention during a conversation. It might mean remembering important details about her life and following up weeks later. It might mean offering thoughtful advice when she faces a challenge. It might mean introducing her to someone who could help her career. These forms of generosity demonstrate that you actually listen, that you care enough to pay attention, that you have resources beyond money to share. They create genuine connection rather than transactional obligation. The art of strategic retreat. One of Machiavelli's most powerful concepts is knowing when to advance and when to withdraw. In attraction, this means recognizing when to pursue and when to pull back. If you're always pursuing, always initiating, always chasing, you create an unhealthy dynamic where she never has to invest or wonder about you. You become the prize that's already won, and what's already won loses its value. Instead, you need to recognize the signs. If she's not reciprocating interest, you withdraw. Not dramatically, not with hurt feelings or complaints, you simply redirect your energy elsewhere. This isn't giving up, it's respecting yourself enough not to waste time on unreciprocated interest. Paradoxically, this withdrawal often reignites interest. When you stop pursuing, when you genuinely move on and focus on other things, you become scarce again. You become a challenge again. Sometimes she notices your absence and reconsiders. Sometimes she doesn't, and that's fine because you've already moved forward. Machiavelli knew that the appearance of being able to walk away is itself a form of power. Strategic retreat also applies within relationships. Sometimes the best move is to give space rather than force resolution. When there's conflict, sometimes stepping back and letting emotions settle is more powerful than pushing for immediate discussion. When she's pulling away, sometimes matching that energy rather than chasing harder is what creates balance. This requires reading situations accurately. You need to distinguish between a temporary need for space and genuine loss of interest. You need to recognize when persistence shows commitment and when it becomes pestering. This discernment comes from emotional intelligence and experience. The key is that your retreat must be genuine. If you pull back strategically while still being emotionally desperate, she'll sense it. If you withdraw but constantly check to see if she's noticed, you're not really withdrawing. True strategic retreat means actually redirecting your focus and energy elsewhere, trusting that if it's meant to work out, it will, and if not, you have a fulfilling life to return to. Controlled vulnerability, the strategic truth. Here's where many modern dating advisors get Machiavelli wrong. They think his philosophy means being completely closed off emotionally, never showing weakness, always maintaining a cold facade. That's not Machiavellian, that's just emotionally stunted. Machiavelli actually understood the power of appearing human. He wrote, "It is not necessary for a prince to have all the good qualities I have enumerated, but it is very necessary to appear to have them." The wisdom here is about controlled revelation. You should be authentic, but strategically so. You share your struggles, but not in a way that makes you seem incapable. You show emotions, but not in a way that makes you seem unstable. When you share something personal with her, it should create intimacy, not concern. It should make her feel trusted, not burdened. This requires judgment and emotional intelligence. The strong man who can admit when he's uncertain, who can show appropriate vulnerability at the right moments, creates deeper connection than the man who pretends to be invulnerable. But this vulnerability must come from a foundation of demonstrated strength, not as a plea for sympathy. Consider the timing and context of vulnerability. Early in dating, you might share a past challenge you've overcome, demonstrating both that you've faced difficulty and that you have the strength to triumph over it. This is attractive vulnerability. Sharing your current insecurities and fears before you've established trust and connection. That's just emotional dumping, and it creates discomfort rather than intimacy. Controlled vulnerability also means being selective about what you share and with whom. Not everyone earns access to your deepest thoughts and feelings. That access should be granted gradually, as trust develops, as the relationship proves itself worthy of that level of intimacy. The most powerful vulnerability is the kind that reveals humanity without diminishing strength. Admitting you were nervous before a big presentation shows you're human. Explaining how you prepared thoroughly and succeeded anyway shows you're capable. Sharing that a parent's death affected you deeply shows emotional depth. Describing how you supported your family through it shows strength of character. This balanced vulnerability creates safety for her to be vulnerable too. When she sees that you can share authentically without falling apart, without needing her to fix you, without using your emotions to manipulate her, she feels safe opening up herself. This mutual vulnerability, when properly calibrated, creates the deep connection that transforms attraction into something meaningful. Building social proof, the power of perception. Machiavelli understood that a prince's reputation often mattered more than reality. He wrote extensively about how perception shapes power. In modern attraction, this translates to social proof, the evidence that other people value you. Women are inherently social creatures who pay attention to how others perceive you. When they see that you're respected by men, liked by women, valued in your community, and successful in your endeavors, it raises your attractiveness significantly. This doesn't mean you need to be famous or universally loved. It means cultivating genuine relationships and achieving real success in domains that matter to you. When you're at a social gathering and people gravitate toward you, when friends speak highly of you, when you're clearly competent and respected in your field, these signals communicate value more powerfully than anything you could say about yourself. Social proof also means being comfortable in social situations. The man who can navigate different social contexts, who makes others feel comfortable, who contributes positively to group dynamics, this man demonstrates high social intelligence, which is deeply attractive. Build this by actually investing in your relationships and pursuits. Be the kind of friend people can count on. Develop expertise in your field. Contribute to your community. Create value in the world. The social proof will follow naturally as a byproduct of being someone worth knowing. The Machiavellian man in modern times. Machiavelli's philosophy, properly understood, isn't about being cruel or manipulative. It's about understanding human nature, respecting reality over wishful thinking, and taking effective action toward your goals. When you apply these principles to attraction, you become the kind of man women naturally gravitate toward: confident but not arrogant, interested but not desperate, generous but not transactional, vulnerable but not weak, persistent but not obsessive. You become someone who has built a life worth joining rather than someone looking for someone else to complete them. You become strategic in your approach without losing your authenticity. You understand that attraction isn't about fairness or deservingness, it's about value, mystery, and emotional intelligence. The most important Machiavellian principle of all. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Be both. Have the strategic intelligence to navigate the complexities of human attraction, and the courage to take bold action when necessary. Now go out there and apply these principles. Build yourself into someone remarkable. Approach life and relationships with strategy and authenticity. And remember, fortune favors the bold, but wisdom guides the bold to success. If this video changed your perspective on attraction and success, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe for more content that challenges you to think differently and live better.